After we finish this sketch, we need to change our workspace settings to 3D modeling. After that, as you notice, the menu on the top, the ribbon, give us more tools for 3D environment. We could have used 2D drafting, the one we had before, but this one has more options, so it's best to change that. On the 3D workspace, now we have new tools available for 3D environment. We can still bring their pull down menu back by saying show menu bar, the one on the top, and it's still useful. On the command line, type change. Once you type change, it's going to ask you select object. You select the circle and press enter, and then select properties from the sub command. Then select elevation and thickness. For each one, we're going to adjust those. In this case, elevation for this particular case is 0. We keep him 0. And then change thickness to different number. In this case, we use 9. Refer to your handout sheet for those information. Once you change that, you notice if you go back to home view, you can see the 3D model here. We have z-axis now defined for that inside part, which is that circle. Now we created the surface model. This is the easiest way to create a surface model for that item. Now we can access the view tool from both ways, from the top pull-down menu and also from pull-down menu that comes with this ribbon on the 3D workspace. We switch to southeast isometric. Default is southwest, the way you're seeing right now. Notice that X and Y and Z orientation. This is southwest. And I like to switch to southeast is the best way to view this. So our front view always is going to be XY. So by changing another way to southeast. And we make this southeast to become a default settings under the home. If you go right click on the home tool, on this, and then select the set current to default, to be default home view. And you notice that now X is the positive X, and this is the normal what we have used to, and now we have XY parallel to screen, basically. Now let's continue changing by typing the change command from the command line and changing other items as information given on that handout sheet. Just select as noted and then change elevation and thickness as required. Notice for this one we have elevation of 7 and thickness of 0.5. So assign those values to thickness and elevation. We continue changing all those items as according to information is given on the handout sheet. Change elevation and thickness for each individual items. Continue for the last item here. All those 3 support elements that we use the polar array system, change those as well. given the thickness and elevation. And remember, default elevation is 0. If we don't change, everything is on the same plane of x parallel to the desk. That would be 0 elevation, and then everything goes higher. We change that for defining the z-axis this way. And again, this is one of the way for creating the 3D surface model or solid model. We can define x, y, z values quickly. And last item, that gear, we same way we change the elevation and thickness on this one under the properties. This one, check the handout sheet what the information is on this one. I believe the elevation for this one, we should have 6 for this one and 2 for thickness. And thickness is 2. Okay, that completes all the elements, and now we need to view under the home view. Remember, we set the home to southeast, and the one that we are seeing as far as the visual style is the wireframe. Wireframe is most complicated object, would be very difficult to read, so it's the best to use a different option like shading and rendering or conceptual. It's pretty good for this case if you use the conceptual, and that should clearly show and hiding all the unseen lines. The wireframe shows everything, and we have to create a wireframe before we add shading or rendering. So that's the surface model how we created. That completes our this first project on elevation and thickness to create a surface model.